So in this video, I'm going to show you how to make a risotto. Just a base risotto, not wild mushroom or any other ingredients, just a very tasty, creamy base. So we're going to start with an onion. You could use shallots as well. So it's important when we peel the onion, because we're going to finely dice it, we just take the top off, but we leave the root of the onion on, or most of the root of the onion on, as it will help to hold the onion together when we come to dice. So just peel it down, get rid of that outside skin. If anybody's got a good trick for stopping the pain of onions as you finely chop them, then please email us. I've been cooking for a long time and it still hurts. So we get rid of the skin. Okay. Now, a very important part of finely chopping an onion is having a really sharp knife. So check out the video that we did a while back for sharpening your knife. I can imagine by now all your knives are extremely sharp at home. And so we're just going to cut directly down from the root, down the middle. Okay. For this risotto recipe, we'll just need half an onion. Okay, so I'm going to pop that other one under there. All these little trimmings we can use for stock. Okay, so with the root facing away from me and the top of the onion facing towards myself, I'm going to make a series of cuts very close together all the way across the onion, but I'm not going to cut all the way to the back of the onion. So you'll see as I begin, you'll probably want to watch this video a few times. So you can see I'm making my slices, but it's still joined at the bottom. So the onion's held together. The closer your slices, the finer your dice. For the risotto, we want quite a finely diced onion because we want it to almost melt in the pan. You shouldn't taste raw onion in your risotto. It's absolutely horrible. Now we could keep going all the way across here. I'm left-handed. If you're right-handed, you're going to be working the other side. But what I like to do at this stage is just turn the onion round. So I've now got the root facing me. And I just feel I've got more control over this side. And then this time, I'm going forward with the knife as my eyes begin to hurt. And then, so they're sliced all the way through, but still joined at the root. So I turn the onion, so where I've made my slices now facing my knife. And I'm just going to make one cut across the middle. And we can see it doesn't fall together because it's still joined here. Okay, and I just pinch it together. And then nice long slices. A cook's knife is designed to slice. It shouldn't be getting pushed down. It'll work better with this nice flowing movement. And you can see that it just glides through the onion. Okay, at this stage I just like to fold the onion over. So it's got a bigger side, a flatter side. Chop, chop, chop. Back over. Just taking your time, there's no mad rush. Okay, now we could go smaller with this. We could run the knife through and chop it. The danger with that is you break the cell structure of the onion and the water will come out and it just won't saute, it won't fry as nicely. So that's fine, that's nice and thin. So I'm going to put my pan on now. I've got quite a heavy bottom pan here. You can use thinner, but just be more gentle with the heat. So I'm going to add a touch of olive oil. Rapeseed would work, sunflower would work. And I'm going to add a pretty decent knob of unsalted butter as well. Turn the heat up just to get that working. Okay. And again, when we put the onion in the pan, we want to hear this sizzle. Cooking with the senses, it should start to smell delicious quite quickly. So we're going to get that in there now. Okay. You can hear it. Okay. Put it on plate. So this will make enough risotto for 4 people. Okay, so the onion's frying now. An important thing, you've got to learn the heat, learn how your pans work. We're cooking on induction again here for the demonstration, but we have gas in the kitchen and it all operates slightly different, so it's just to take the time. I've turned it down a little bit because I don't want any colour on these onions. You don't want a risotto with black specks through it at the end, the burnt bits. So we want to cook this out till the onions are just soft. So as they're doing their thing, I'll show you the other ingredients that are going to make up our risotto. We have the risotto rice. Risotto rice, it's just short grain rice. Now I've given it a quick rinse under the cold tap, just in a sieve. I don't want to kind of have the waters running dry or anything like that. I want to keep it starch in the rice because it will thicken the risotto. But I just want to remove any excess dust on the outside of the rice. So the rice is important that you use the right rice. We've got a vegetable stock here for our base. You could use chicken stock, lots of different things. Even water is fine. We made this as a very quick vegetable stock. You can see that video, our 10-minute veg stock video. Other ingredients that we have are a little bit of dry white wine. It'll just bring freshness, a wee bit of acidity to the risotto, so it's not too heavy. But it's not necessary, it's just, I like it in there. And the last thing is a nice hard cheese. Now, traditionally Parmesan is used. There's a fantastic cheese called Old Winchester, an English Parmesan style of cheese, which we use a lot. And we'll finish the risotto with a little bit of that as well. And lastly, when the risotto is just about ready, we'll take it off the heat and we'll fold in some unsalted butter and a pinch of salt. Okay, so the onions have been going now for a few minutes. They're looking translucent. They're softening up, and I can smell that they're sweeter. They've lost that harshness. So at this stage, I'm going to add my rice. Okay. Now you might think it's a little bit strange putting the rice in with no liquid, but we actually want to lightly toast the rice. And by toasting the rice, it starts to crack a little bit, and it'll just help to make the risotto really creamy as it cooks out, as we start to add the vegetable stock. But we obviously want to be careful that we don't burn the rice and burn the onions at this stage. But we can see already that the rice has absorbed the oil and the butter. So we're already starting to build that base creaminess, but also the flavour. So we just, using a wooden spoon in your pan, just keep moving it about. Just a few minutes. The perfect risotto shouldn't sit up on the plate. It should have just a gentle bite on the rice, and it should be comforting and warming and the perfect autumnal winter food. We're making the base today, but you could finish that with wild mushrooms or beautiful fresh crab from Lime Bay. You could be putting roast squash through it. It's a really good kind of base recipe that we're making. Okay, so I'm happy with the toasting. Again, I can smell it. It's slightly nutty aroma. So at this stage, we add the white wine. So a good large glass of white wine. It's important to keep a little bit for the chef out of the bottle. So if you feel you're going to use a bottle, buy another bottle. And at this stage, I'm going to turn the heat up because we want to reduce the wine. So if we add the stock now, it's going to taste of booze. It's not going to be pleasant. We want the freshness and acidity from white wine. If we were adding red wine, it brings body to a dish. White wine brings freshness and acidity if it's a dry white. So we can see the water evaporating and it's burning off the alcohol. And we're going to reduce this so it's almost dry in the pan. Constantly moving it about with the spoon. And at this stage, I'm also going to add just a pinch of salt, not too much. It'll just help the seasoning on the rice. But we'll finish it when we've added our cheese, and we'll adjust the seasoning then. Okay. So you can see when I pull it away, the pan is almost dry. And now I'm going to add my veg stock. Now this is warm, the veg stock, but cold works fine as well. It'll just take a little bit longer to cook it. Okay, so important to keep stirring it. I'm going to turn the heat down to like a sort of medium heat on your stove. But we definitely want to see it boiling. So what's happening now is we've got a little bit of evaporation, but we've also, the rice is absorbing a lot of the really aromatic stock here. It smells absolutely brilliant. Okay, so we keep moving it around. And you notice I didn't add lots and lots of stock. It's going to be a process. We add it bit by bit by bit. So we'll come back to this in a few minutes. Okay, so our risotto's been cooking now for 12 to 15 minutes. I've kept stirring it. I've added more stock. And I think we're about there. So the important thing to do here is just keep tasting it. Taste it at the start, it's going to be crunchy. You keep tasting, and it's now just almost, it's still got a little bite to it. So what I do now is I'm going to add one final amount of stock. Okay. Now that might seem like quite a lot when we're almost there, but at this stage, we're going to almost turn that last bit of stock into the sauce in a way. So I just fold it, and I've turned my heat really low now. As low as I can go. Okay. See, it's quite creamy. Now, you should never add cream to a risotto. You really don't need to. So a tiny, tiny bit more stock. I want it quite wet at this stage. Okay. And then I'm going to turn the heat off completely. So that stock was still warm. And I'm going to add my cheese. Quite a bit of cheese. Okay, and I'm going to add a few knobs of butter. We certainly cook with a bit more butter in the winter. I use more oil and just lighter in the summer. Okay, and you can see as we work that in, the butter and the cheese are just enriching it and give it a real nice shine and a silkiness. I'm just folding that in. This can be made in advance as well, so you cook it a little bit, cook it to the point where it's still got a fair amount of bite, lay it on a tray and let it cool. So if you've got friends coming for dinner, or even you've got one big cooking day that you're doing at the weekend, and you want it for a Tuesday night supper, you can have that ready in the fridge, and then just heat up some of your stock in the pan, pop your risotto, half-cooked risotto back in there, bring it back up, get it to this stage and finish it. It can really be made beforehand. And also leftover risotto, you can roll into little balls, breadcrumb them and fry them. It's called arancini. Okay, a bit of salt. And that is looking pretty good. So you can see that beautiful creaminess. Just really nice and rich. I'll just check the seasoning. Lovely. Okay, so now I'm ready to serve. Transfer over to a metal spoon. If we wanted to add other ingredients, this would be the time to do so. If we were making mushroom risotto, fry them off separately and either put them on top or put them through now. If you wanted to have crab or smoked fish or other vegetables, this is the time to fold it in. And so we just pour that out onto our plate. When I said 4 portions, that's 4 very generous portions. Okay, I'm going to finish with a little touch more of this beautiful Old Winchester cheese. Finally, a little drizzle of olive oil. And there we go, a very simple but extremely delicious and perfect risotto base. Give it a shot and look forward to see you in the next video.